I'm Richard Schertzer of the Nocturnal, and today I got UFC middleweight star Joe Pyfer and Chandler Henry, director of Journey to the UFC. So, Joe, I guess I'll just start with you. How did you get started in the UFC?
Well, how I got started in MMA was my dad was a boxer, had a boxing background, grew up in Kent, Philadelphia, and then he was learning through a guy named Stephen Haig who used to own the Fight Factory back in the day. So a lot of OGs will know what that gym was. And as he was learning, I kind of got pushed in that direction and started learning jujitsu as he was learning it. And it transpired from about 4.5 years old. And ever since, it's been something that I've always done and, developed a passion for and a love for. And that's what got me started on this path.
So, what was the most difficult thing about working in MMA?
Working in MMA, look, you got to look at it as a whole. It's it's constantly finding the new motivation, what your drive is, what your why is, what your goal is, what you're striving for. So being able to constantly stay motivated for those goals and constantly, you know, uh, reaffirming yourself and giving yourself these positive reinforcements to understand that you're going to get there one day, no matter how far-fetched it may seem or how crazy it may seem to somebody else in your outside circle or even inside your close circle. I would just say it's finding that consistent motivation to have discipline every day over and over and over again. So because the next fight is always the biggest fight, and if it's not, you're probably not as motivated. So I would just say constantly finding what your why is.
Okay, so what do you enjoy most about fighting?
There's not, see, man, that's it's not one thing specific. It's everything. It's getting in shape, feeling myself get better, enjoying waking up knowing that I got those butterflies and I'm chasing after this, because I'm nervous or I'm scared or things like that. So I would say it's everything. And then the culmination of you go out there, you have a great performance, you got a memory forever, that you'll look back on and want to watch. Just opening that door to the next step, the next level, and really being able to you know um find out how far I could push myself. I would say that is probably my favorite thing about fighting is figuring out what my limits are.
So, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Um, retired if I want to be. That's my goal. Retired in 10 years if I want to be. Um, my beach house, drinking coffee, living an old person's life, and a real quiet life, working on cars and just kind of enjoying life. I didn't get to enjoy it too much as a kid, and I want to enjoy it. Now that I have control of my own life and my own destiny and things like that. So I would say being able to be in a position in 10 years that if I don't want to fight anymore, I financially don't have to.
Okay, so if you could change one thing about, I don't know, the business of the UFC, what would it be?
No comment on that. I'm not a businessman when it comes to the UFC. I don't want to put anything out there that would go against it. I don't really need to vocalize that. I keep that shit to myself. But there's always room for change. Let's just leave it at that.
All right, any advice for fighters?
I mean, depends. Each fighter's individually going through their own struggle, especially on this journey. But I would just say self-belief. I keep always coming back to that in these interviews. Self-belief is one of the biggest um, forms of confidence that you can have, and if you truly believe it, you will literally chase mountains. So climb mountains with it and being able to go even beyond that. So don't be afraid to shoot for the moon and go for it, man. If you believe in it, go for it. There's no harm in taking a shot and missing, but at least you found out if you can make it. You know what I mean? So I would just say shoot your shot and have self-belief.
All right. So, Chandler, I want to talk to you now. How did you begin your career as a film director?
So I started doing card tricks on YouTube back in the day, and the YouTube channel I had grew in popularity. And eventually, my brother bought me a camera, that I could use to make the YouTube videos better. I met Joe back in high school. We had stayed friends throughout high school and when I went to college, and he was starting his amateur career, going into his professional career. And I remember being at college, like showing all my friends on my phone, like, yo, look at this guy. He's like knocking people out, man. And showing all my friends Joe. And the thought that I was having while watching these incredible knockouts that Joe had was, man, I wonder how good these would look if, I was shooting them on my camera rather than like the cell phone video that we're seeing. So I hit Joe up that summer, I believe it was summer 2018. And I started filming with him kind of just for fun. I just wanted to make some cool stuff of Joe with my new camera. I could shoot cool slow motion video. And then there was one day I remember specifically where Joe took me to this really cool gym. The lighting, there was skylights, there was light pouring out of the ceiling, and Joe and his trainer Sam were like working out, and there was sweat beads flying everywhere when the boxing gloves were hitting. And I remember recording it and editing the footage, and I like, that was the day I was hooked. And ever since then, working with Joe and making videos with him, he's always taken care of me and gotten me where I needed to be in my career in front of the right people with the work I've done for him. And that got me my first job out of college. And I just progressed and got better and better cameras, years of experience. And that really brought us to where we're at today, where Joe's career has hit an apex where he made the UFC. And my filmmaking skills have reached a point where I can actually make a product that belongs on a big streaming platform. And it just kind of culminated at the perfect time for us to make this project.
Your documentary Journey to the UFC, what do you want people to walk away with after seeing this movie?
I think it's almost impossible to watch this film and not be extremely motivated by it. I think that almost everyone who I've talked to who's seen it is brought to tears, but also it's not really a sad film. It's a triumphant film. And you get to go down to those depths of hell that Joe had to go into, but also feel the same success that he did when he achieved his ultimate goal. So I think that, everyone has problems in their life, and there's always going to be someone who has it worse than you. There's always going to be someone who has it easier than you. But Joe's story is so traumatic, so severe, and there are so many things that he had to overcome that for 99% of people, they're watching and like, man, I have it easy. I got to get up and go. I got to chase my dreams, because if he could do it, then I can do it.
And where do you see your filmmaking career in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, honestly, I'm excited about doing more sports documentaries. Joe's career is continuing, and I believe that Joe, what he was just talking about in his 5 to 10 years, I think he can get there. He has that skill set and he has that drive to get there. So I want to continue with following Joe's career in every way I can, with continue our friendship in that way. And I'm sure there'll be times when I'm not working with Joe, working on other projects and things like that. I just want to continue to get better at what I do, every project to the next, right? This film is the best I could possibly make it at the time. And I love the way it turned out. But I'm sure in 5-10 years, when Joe's a UFC champion, I'll be like, hey, let's make another. I'm even better now. You know what I mean? So the sky's the limit for both of us, and I'm really excited about it.
And any advice for upcoming filmmakers?
Shoot. I think that lots of young filmmakers, when they first start trying to make this a career, they become a little bit obsessed with getting paid for what they do. And that can really stunt them a lot of times, because your skill set doesn't match the price you can demand. Joe, and I've worked with Joe for, 6 years now. I think we exchanged money one time, but Joe's always taken care of me. He's got me jobs, he's gotten me opportunities, but like, we're friends. It's never about money when I work with Joe. And me doing this projects and work for free, in quotes, for Joe has landed me like my whole career and all these opportunities. So I think that young filmmakers need to take opportunities to showcase their talents without worrying about the money. Because if your skills improve and you put yourself in the right situation, that'll come.
That's fair to say. That's fair. I only ask because I'm actually an upcoming filmmaker myself.
Yeah, don't be afraid to work for free. If it gets, your stuff gets in front of the right eyes, man, the money will come.